I've said this over and over again, and I will forever stand by this statement until the Golden State Warriors successfully trade for somebody. There is no bigger threat to improve their team or no bigger threat to add a superstar to their team than the Golden State Warriors during this offseason. And it appears as though they are already targeting a specific player. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here, and real quick before we get to the content, I wanted to let you guys know we're giving away a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel, and we're going to announce the giveaway winner on my community tab in the beginning of August. We're running the same exact giveaway for my Laced Up podcast once we get to 40,000 subscribers there as well. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Before we even dive into this rumor at all, I need to make a couple of disclaimers because, well, I like to make sure you guys are as informed about the topic at hand as humanly possible. The first disclaimer is that the odds of Damian Lillard getting out of Portland are very, very slim. And the reason for that is the man literally signed a contract extension on July 6, 2019 that literally kicks in this year. So his contract extension starts from his age 31 season from 2021 to 2022 all the way until the end of 2025. By then he'll be 35 years old, and it's a supermax contract, so good for him, but essentially it's very, very hard for Damian Lillard to force his way out of Portland. This isn't even remotely similar to what James Harden had to do with the Houston Rockets to get to the Brooklyn Nets, because James Harden had 2 years left on his contract at that point. They were offering him a contract extension. He turned down that contract extension, and eventually he forced his way to the Brooklyn Nets. And the Houston Rockets sent him off properly because I think, in my opinion, they took a lesser deal in order to get James Harden onto the team that he wanted to be on. So the thing that's fueling these Damian Lillard rumors are the fact that a while ago, Chauncey Billups was hired as the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and after endorsing Chauncey Billups as his head coach, unfortunately, word came out about a case that Chauncey Billups was involved in back in 1997. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but if you guys want to go ahead and search that up, by all means. As a result, Damian Lillard was getting a lot of heat for advocating for Jason Kidd or Chauncey Billups, two head coaches or head coaching prospects that had female assault cases opened up on them in the past. While Chauncey Billups' situation is a little bit different than Jason Kidd's because Chauncey Billups is just an allegation, Jason Kidd is a little bit more. The Athletic came out with an article that pretty much stated that the fact that Chauncey Billups was hired would push Damian Lillard away from the Portland Trail Blazers, which in my opinion is pretty strange. Strange only because this is a man that Damian Lillard originally wanted, and the fact that this man that the Portland Trail Blazers hired just to appease Damian Lillard is what would eventually alienate Damian Lillard is what's fascinating to me. So as a result, Damian Lillard finds himself in a myriad of potential trade rumors, and the Portland Trail Blazers have all the leverage in this situation should he even want to be traded. After all, they have his contract up until 2025, so they could sit down and wait for the perfect offer for Damian Lillard before they accept it. Now, meanwhile, you have the Golden State Warriors, who, of course, after being the most dominant Western Conference team of the past half decade, injuries finally began to dismantle this team. Klay Thompson going down with an ACL injury in the 2019 NBA Finals, followed by him tearing his Achilles right before the NBA season, resulted in the Golden State Warriors not being the superstar that they once were, of course, if you also factor in the fact that Kevin Durant left them the year prior. But the Golden State Warriors have quite possibly the most capital that they could offer for any potential trade for a star, which is why this rumor that came out today is very interesting. You see, this is coming from Anthony Slater of The Athletic, and of course, I always take The Athletic sources very seriously because, at least in the past, they've been very credible in my opinion. And according to Anthony Slater, the Golden State Warriors already internally discussed the idea of a deal for Damian Lillard, saying that the Warriors would make a call and have already internally discussed the idea of trading for Damian Lillard. I'm sure most contenders have, considering the rising smoke out of Portland. Out of every team that could trade for Damian Lillard, without a doubt the Warriors could probably give up the best package, because they could trade James Wiseman. They have the number 7 and number 14 picks in the 2021 NBA draft. Andrew Wiggins is a pretty freaking good salary cap filler if you think about it. Yes, he has had up and down seasons in terms of talent, but he's not the worst salary cap filler that you could get. He's a former number 1 overall pick who still, in my opinion, has a lot of untapped potential. And while I'm saying he's not the go-to person that you would ideally trade for, he's still a good piece to have on your team, especially if you're just trying to match salary with another team and if you're getting a plethora of other first-round draft picks and potentially another young rookie to develop alongside of him. Now, do I think this is plausible at all? Do I think there's a chance that this happens at all? Well, I'm just gonna give it to you straight. It really depends on Damian Lillard's behavior over the next couple of months. We know that this rumor is always going to persist no matter what, because Damian Lillard is an Oakland native, and obviously him going to the Golden State Warriors would be a nice little story. Watching him in a backcourt with Steph Curry would be absolutely terrifying, but to be honest, I really can't see this happening just because the Portland Trailblazers aren't necessarily in a situation where they would even need to accept a deal like that. Damian Lillard has so many years on his contract that he could stay there for the rest of his career against his will if the Portland Trailblazers want to make him do that. And although I do believe that the Warriors have discussed internally about potentially trading for Damian Lillard, which, bear in mind, discussing internally could be something as simple as Bob Myers going to Steve Kerr saying, hey, would you like Damian Lillard on our team? And Steve Kerr saying, yes, I would love that. Or him even saying, no, I won't love that. I do believe an internal discussion took place, but I don't believe a trade between these two teams are going to happen either. And it's not because of Klay Thompson, because I'm a firm believer that Klay Thompson might be a 25 minutes per game player, or maybe even a potential sixth man once he returns from his injuries. I don't really know. We have to see how the ACL and Achilles injury affected him. I haven't seen a scenario like Klay Thompson's before, so it might be very difficult to tell. So the reason I'm saying this is I do believe the Warriors would be interested in pairing Steph Curry with another guard and maybe lightening Klay Thompson's load, because you never know, man. This guy's coming off of 2 of the most gruesome injuries that an NBA player can have, even though his skill set is primarily shooting. So it's a very unique situation. I think a more realistic target for the Golden State Warriors would probably be a player like Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal has 2 years remaining on his contract. Well, technically a 1+1. He's 2 years younger than Damian Lillard. He's 28 years old, whereas Damian Lillard is going to turn 31 in just 3 days. They are both tremendous offensive talents, although Damian Lillard is the main option on his team, so his numbers might be a little bit inflated. His OBPM is almost double of Bradley Beal's OBPM, which is insane considering that Bradley Beal was the NBA's second top scorer this year. Defensively, they both have their issues, although Bradley Beal is a significantly larger defensive liability than Damian Lillard is. Regardless, I think either of these players would do for the Warriors, but I think Bradley Beal is the more tradable guy at this point. But that's my take on the matter. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? Do you think the Golden State Warriors could swing a trade for Damian Lillard? Do you think Damian Lillard even starts the next NBA season as a member of the Portland Trailblazers? If not, do you think he's going to go to the Warriors, or do you think he'll go to a different team? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.